actually 7:01.
7:01? Well, I'm looking at this time.
That's a bad clock. That's a bad clock. So 7:01. Vice Mayor Desilme?
Here.
Councilman Galvin?
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy? Here. Mayor Bieneme? Councilwoman Estime Irvin? Vice Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Attorney, Madam Manager, any correction in relation to the agenda before we move forward?
Yes, well, we're going to move tab J and K.
Your mic.
To move tab J and K to the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we begin, before we have an invocation by Commendatory Holmes from the North Miami Police Department, if you all please could stand a moment of silence for the elementary kids this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Commander Holmes?
Good evening, everyone. Please place your right hand over your heart for the pledge of allegiance and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Officer Commander Holmes. And now we're going to have an invocation followed by Pastor Nathaniel Staton of the Bethany Evangelical Covenant Church.
Praise the Lord. Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks and praise for your goodness and your mercy endure forever. We pray for your mercy for this nation. We pray your mercy for the school in Texas where lives were lost. We pray for mercy in the city of Buffalo where lives were lost. We pray for healing for this nation. We pray for unity for this nation. We pray a house divided against itself shall fall. So we pray for unity. Bless this nation, bless this city of North Miami, bless this meeting tonight, bless the mayor and the city councilmen and women, and may this meeting be governed by your counsel and your wisdom. We pray this in Christ our Lord's name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You all may be seated. And now, since we already done item 4, Mr. Attorney, are we good? We set to go?
Yes, Vice Mayor, the agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Special presentation, COVID-19. Do we have any update, Commander Brinson?
Good evening, council members, visiting guests. Commander Angelo Brinson, Emergency Manager. For the COVID-19 update, the 7-day positivity rate for COVID-19 across Miami-Dade County has increased to 19%. The total number of new cases that were reported last week in Miami-Dade County was 11,283. This is quite an increase over the previous weeks and definitely over the previous months. It should be noted that even though we are experiencing a slight uptrend in new COVID-19 cases across Miami-Dade County, the COVID-related death rate has still remained below 1, exactly 0.7. So as long as we can keep that down, even with the slight uptick in cases, we are still in a good place. But we must continue to protect ourselves. The City of North Miami continues to offer COVID-19 testing in partnership with Nomi Health. COVID-19 testing is available right here on the first floor of City Hall in the courtyard out front. Testing is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it is completely free. Testing is also available for COVID-19 at Cagney Park, located at 13498 Northeast 8th Avenue. Testing at Cagney Park is offered 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Masks are not mandated, but highly encouraged for in crowded areas or when you're around a lot of people to just continue to wear the mask. If you have any questions.
Any questions from the dais? One quick question. I know there was an article regarding COVID-19. There was some errors from the state from the website. Can you shed some light? Is that part of Miami-Dade? Because it was specifically with Miami-Dade, they were talking about the numbers were not really accurate from reporting from the state.
As far as the accuracy of the testing, we get those numbers from the CDC, not the CDC, the Florida Health Department, and they're reported from all the different testing sites, all the hospitals, doctors' offices. So we have to accept what we get from the Florida Department of Health until they come out with the report themselves and say that we made a mistake, here's the correct numbers. But until that happens, we just go with what we're getting from the Florida Department of Health.
Okay. Thank you, Commander
Thank you.
Brinson. I think for the proclamation, since it's supposed to be presented by Councilwoman Irving, and she's late. Do we do it now? Okay. So I think our city manager will present the proclamation on behalf of. So guys, let's join her down there.
Do it after?
This is the special infrastructure week, right?
I have to ask our Public Works Director to come up. Yeah, let's go ahead. All right. So we're celebrating Infrastructure Week. This is a week across the nation so that we can have an opportunity for our national and local leaders to elevate infrastructure as a critical issue. One of our main directors that focus on the infrastructure here is Whistler Pierre Lewis, so he'll read out the rest of the proclamation for us.
Good evening, everyone. This is a pleasant surprise. I'll take one for the team. But the proclamation reads, whereas the week of May 16th through 20th is observed as Infrastructure Week across the nation as an opportunity for national and local leaders to elevate infrastructure as a critical issue. And whereas all Americans broadly rely on many types of infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and other transportation networks, dependable water systems, infrastructure to combat extreme weather events, access to broadband, and overall connectivity to the economy. And whereas the recently passed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, or BIL, provides historic funding of $1.2 trillion to invest in America's crumbling infrastructure. And whereas many of the bill investments will flow to cities, towns, and villages, providing a unique opportunity to address individual community-focused infrastructure improvements and build sustainable and resilient infrastructure. And whereas infrastructure improvement projects will enhance the local and regional economy, resident quality of life, and the safety of the community. And now, therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, I, Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin, on behalf of the residents, do hereby proclaim May 16th through 20th, 2022 to be Infrastructure Week.
Thank you to Councilwoman Mary Estime Irving for recognizing Infrastructure Week and for presenting this. Thank you.
Seriously, it's like every 2 weeks with Public Works. And now for appointments, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Lumana Joseph at large to the Board of Adjustment in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Section 2-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This is an appointment by Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the appointment of Lumana Joseph at large to the Board of Adjustment. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 3-0 vote. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Sarah McDevitt to the North Miami Parks and Recreation Commission in accordance with Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 5, Section 2-187 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This is an appointment by Councilman Scott Galvin. Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the appointment of Sarah McDevitt to the North Miami Parks and Recreation Commission. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 3-0 vote.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda.
Do we have any city announcements?
No.
Oh, announcement. Oh, my God.
The bridge first.
It's okay.
And now, Katia Filippo with our city announcement. You know, we'd have got the emails. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, staff, and North Miami neighbors and guests. My name is Katia Filippo on behalf of the City of North Miami, and it is my pleasure to share some of our city's upcoming events. Summer is almost upon us, and we are offering a variety of different camps that will keep children active, engaged, and entertained all summer long. Campers who participate in our MVP Summer Camp located at the Keystone Park and Community Center, located at 13050 Exora Court, will enjoy sports-themed weeks, indoor and outdoor games, sports, clinics, and field trips. While campers at the Joe Celestin Center, located at 1525 Northwest 135th Street, will enjoy themed weeks, on-site activities, games, field trips, and more. This is an opportunity you don't want to miss. Camps will be held Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Registration is now open. Please contact the Parks and Recreation Office located at 1600 Northeast 127th Street, North Miami, Florida 33181, or call 305-895-9840. MOCA North Miami Summer Camp is back in person. Children's ages 6 to 13 are invited to join the Museum for Contemporary Art experience at Studio Arts Camp and Dynamic Design Camp. Each session introduces students to a wide range of contemporary art or design techniques through a variety of themes. For more details, please visit www.mocanomi.org. To celebrate Haitian Heritage Month, join the North Miami Public Library for a celebrity story time. Enjoy a special story read by a NOMI community member each Thursday at 4 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library, located at 835 Northeast 132nd Street. This Thursday, Madam City Clerk Vanessa Joseph will be the celebrity story time guest. For more information, please contact the library at 305-895-5535 or library@northmiamifl.gov. In addition, please learn to dance compa at the North Miami Public Library. This will be the last class for the celebratory month to learn Haitian compa, the modern dance of Haiti, from 3 to 4 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library. The class will be taught by the owner-founder of KOTR Compa, Sunny Laventure. To register, please call 305-891-5535. Space is limited. The North Miami Public Library will also host a naturalization workshop on Wednesday, May 25th at 6 p.m. The workshop will be held in person at the NOMI Library. Participants will have the opportunity to connect online with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Community Relations Officer to find out about naturalization and other immigration topics. To register, please call 305-891-5535. Mayor Philip Biename and the Association of Haitian Educators of Dade present the 2022 Haitian Heritage Month Soiree of Honors. Join us as we celebrate Haitian professionals who have made significant contributions in our communities. The event will take place on Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m. at the NOMI Wildcat Center, located at 1600 Northeast 127th Street. A favor of a reply is requested at Eventbrite, NOMI Soiree of Honors.eventbrite.com. For additional information, please contact the Office of the Mayor and Council at 305-895-9815. This Friday, May 27th, don't miss MOCA Grand Night on the Plaza from 6 to 10 p.m. MOCA will be celebrating their Teen Art Force students' accomplishments with our first annual Teen Art Force fashion show, a project art and MOCA pop-up exhibition, Remember the Sky, Memory Landscapes, Real and Imagined. Afterwards, at 8 p.m., enjoy Jazz at MOCA featuring Haitian guitarist artist Char Davoine. There will be food and shop vendors on site. Register at mocanomi.org. The North Miami Public Library will be hosting the first-time home buyers education workshop in Creole every fourth Saturday of the month from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The workshop will cover topics such as grants, down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, government subsidies, neighborhood stabilization, protecting your investment, obtaining a mortgage loan, and fair housing lending. Valid photo ID and proof of income, W-2 or current pay stub are required. Upon completion of the 8-hour workshop, you will be issued a certificate of completion. To register, please call Expert Resource Community Center at 305-652-7616. Join us this year to honor our nation's fallen heroes. Veterans from each branch will be remembered with their wreath dedication, posting of colors, lowering of the flag to half-mast, and a performance of the national anthem. Their ceremony will take place on Monday, May 30th at 10 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial at Griffin Park, located at Northeast 123rd Street and West Dixie Highway. For more information, please contact our Parks and Recreation Department at 305-895-9840. On Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 at 6 p.m. at the Griffin Community Center, located at 12220 Griffin Boulevard, North Miami, the Office of the City Clerk, in partnership with the Community Reinvestment Alliance of Florida and Catalyst Miami, will be hosting a continued conversation on community benefits agreements. This event is for anyone interested in learning about community benefits agreements and how they can be used by community coalitions to provide their input early in the planning process before a development is approved. Join us for an interactive workshop that aims to help residents understand the CBA process while working with neighbors and stakeholders to develop a CBA for future projects coming to North Miami. If you missed part 1 and would like to learn about the basics of a CBA and more, visit northmiamifl.gov/city clerk for the recorded workshop. Join Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy, MP, as she recaps accomplishments in the community during her first year in office with the State of District Town Hall meeting. The Town Hall meeting will take place on Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library. Address is 835 Northeast 130 2nd Street. Attendees will learn what's in store for District 2 and the resources available to all North Miami residents. Her address will include upcoming projects, developments, initiatives, and information displays from various city departments. Refreshments will be provided. RSVP by May 27th by calling 305-895-9818 or cnmdistrict2townhall.eventbrite.com. Calling out for students who live or attend schools in City of North Miami aged 14 to 19 years to celebrate the North Miami Youth Council with an end-of-the-year school bash. The event will take place on June 4th at Desertland, located at 14401 Northeast 19th Avenue from 6 to 9 p.m. at the skating rink. Music will be provided by DJ Lucky C from 99 Jams. This is a free event. For more information, please contact the Office of the Mayor and Council at 305-895-9818. Join us for Mayor's Quarterly Business Luncheon taking place on Thursday, June 9, 2022 from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Nomi Wildcat Center. The event will focus on understanding diversity, equity, and inclusion, steps on how to create and maintain a successful workplace. There will be a special presentation by North Miami Mayor Philip Biename. Kindly respond by Monday, June 6th by visiting mayorsquarterlybusinessluncheon.eventbrite.com. Lastly, the staff of U.S. Senator Rick Scott will host mobile office hours to help with issues related to federal agencies on the third Thursday of each month. The next mobile office hours will take place on Thursday, June 16th between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library. For more information, please visit rickscott.senate.gov. To stay up to date with NOMI news and events, log on to our website at northmiamifl.gov. Click on Connect with NOMI on the homepage to sign up for newsletters. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at NOMI News. That's all for this evening, and thank you on behalf of the City of North Miami.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, for the record, as of 7:15 p.m., you are now present.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Yes, yeah, maybe. Let's move to the appointments.
The consent agenda.
Oh, you did that? Oh, sorry. Okay. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through H and J and K constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through H and J and K be adopted.
J and K,
Yes, they were added to the consent agenda.
thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
H, J. Tab I, right?
Tab I, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the selection of Brazil USA LLC as the lowest responsive and responsible contractor to perform the water main project on Northeast 118th Street from Biscayne Canal Road to West Dixie Highway, in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 13-21-22. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with Brazil USA LLC for the provision of services in an amount not to exceed $766,503, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab I.
Thank you very much. Can we ask and Public Works Director to give us some more information? What type of work exactly we are gonna be doing? And then after that, I think that's.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Through the manager, Whistler Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. What you have before you is an award of a contract to Brazil. They will be installing approximately 3,000 linear feet of water main on 18th Street from Biscayne Canal Road to West Dixie Highway. This is a project to increase the capacity in the area, upgrade the water main, install fire hydrants, and address issues such as water quality and water pressure. We do have a presentation. Our engineer of record is here, Kimberly Horn, and they can provide you with or go through their presentation, which will provide
Okay.
additional information
Yes.
if you like it.
Yes, go ahead, and after that, we will go for the process.
This presentation, there we go. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Gary Rattay with Kimley Horn and Associates. Pleased to be here tonight to discuss your water main improvement project on Northeast 118th Street. Basically, tonight I'll be going over a general, brief project overview, as well as some of the design parameters that we use to develop the project, the benefits of the project, and then an overall approach as to how we'll proceed with construction and the associated project schedule. So as Whistler had mentioned, the basic project is to replace about 3,000 linear feet of of water main on 118th Street, as well as Biscayne Canal Road and West Dixie Highway. This is basically upgrading either old or undersized water main with new water main, and at the same time we'll be replacing all the isolation valves and the fire hydrants and the water service lines, which are the lines that connect the water main to the various properties to provide service to those properties. And then once the underground infrastructure improvements are complete, then of course we'll complete the trench restoration, the associated roadway restoration, and any adjacent site restoration as required. This gives you a little better idea of where the project actually is. Again, on Northeast 118th Street, as well as along Biscayne Canal Road and a short section on West Dixie Highway. This is where we'll be putting in the yellow line indicates where we'll be putting in the new 8-inch water main, upsizing the existing infrastructure that's in place now. And again, there'll be new hydrants and valves and water services throughout this project area. So as far as design parameters are concerned, basically it's a water main system. It's going to comply with Miami-Dade Water and Sewer as well as City of North Miami design parameters for water distribution systems. This project is also part of an overall master plan that was completed by the city. It's not a project that's just designed in a vacuum. It is part of the overall distribution system to make sure it's an improvement that benefits not only just this community, but the entire system as the city improves their system. Materials of construction, again, standard in the industry now with C900 PVC and ductile iron fittings, fire hydrants to the specification, again, in Miami-Dade Water and Sewer, things of that nature. The sizing of the water main, part of the master plan process to make sure that you get the required flows and the required pressures throughout the system. And obviously with the larger pipe, the new systems, flows will be increased, pressures will be increased to provide better service to the community. And the system is laid out in such a way to be cost effective and operationally efficient as far as valves and hydrants and spacing and things of that nature are concerned. Benefits, obviously an infrastructure improvement to replace old pipe that again is aged, undersized. Obviously when you put in new system such as this, the likelihood of failures are minimized dramatically, improved system performance with flows and pressures which provide better fire protection, better water flow to everybody's houses or associated commercial properties, which end result provides or improves public health and public safety by providing better water service, better fire protection. So when we actually move into construction, assuming the project gets awarded tonight to the apparent low bidder, we'll start off with informing the public. There'll be project signs and project fact sheets distributed ahead of construction so that the community is aware the project's coming, what it's going to consist of, when it's going to start, and intended duration. Kimley Horn will work closely with the city and the contractor during construction to make sure that we're all coordinating and on the same page, basically to make sure the project's proceeding in compliance with the plans and the specifications. We'll provide construction administration, which involves progress meetings, pay application review, shop drawing review during the procurement process to make sure all the pipes and fittings and valves and hydrants all comply with the plans and specifications. All the way through project certification so that the piping is pressure tested and bacterialized and disinfected before connected to the existing system, again for safety to the community. And another main focus during the construction process is site safety and maintenance of traffic. We'll make sure that there's signage in place, cones, message machines, flagmen, whatever's required to keep the area safe, both for vehicular traffic as well as pedestrian traffic. And then also just site safety and site cleanliness in general so that wherever there is excavation or construction going on, those areas are secured and kept safe for the general community. Again, we'll take this through project certification to make sure the system is installed correctly. And at this point, again, assuming things move forward tonight, take some time to get the contract in place and move forward. We anticipate a start this summer, August 2022. Is an 8-month duration for this project from notice to proceed, which would have things done and in place spring of next year. And lastly, this is just an example of the project fact sheet that will be distributed ahead of the project. It just provides a general scope and purpose of the project, the project cost, so people, obviously community wants to be informed of what kind of costs we're talking about, the importance of maintenance of traffic and associated hours of operation, time frame, which I just discussed, 8-month duration, and public information. It includes Chooks' name there as a contact for the city. And with that, it's a basic overview of what the project consists of, and if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sade, do you want to add anything?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. I think pretty much between the Public Works Director and Mr. Gary Ratea, they've summed it up pretty much.
Thank you. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab I. Public hearing is now closed. Do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quick, Mr. Estrada, well, maybe Madam Manager. In reference to this project, someone asked me, a resident, does it have something to do with the fact that is there a portion of it doesn't belong in the city, that's an unincorporated deed, if we could explain that, or is it all in our city?
I believe that the line lies outside of the city limits,
Okay.
but I'll have to defer to Mr. Rattay and the Public Works Directors. But I do believe the line.
As far as the city, anybody will provide water to, that's a water main line. That's, it can be all the way to North Shore Hospital. And
But it's
in
our-
some part of Biscayne Garden. That's been, it's a water main provided by the
That's
city
correct.
for the area.
That's
whether
correct.
it's in
Providing
North-
service to the city.
To the
residents.
city, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Now your motion on tab I.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desame. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Tab L.
Tab L, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Volume 1, Goals, Objectives, and Policies of the City of North Miami 2016 Comprehensive Plan, more specifically, the future land use element thereof, in accordance with the requirements of Section 163.3184, parentheses 3, Florida Statutes 2021, and Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 11, Section 3-1102A, and Sections 3-1105 through 3-1110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances by amending the future land use element at policy 1.15.1 to combine the primary and secondary pools of floating dwelling units, providing for an initial hearing and subsequent transmittal of the proposed amendment to the reviewing agencies and/or any interested local government or governmental agency for review under the expedited state review process, providing for an adoption hearing and subsequent transmittal of the proposed amendment as may be amended to respond to comments from the reviewing agencies to the State Land Planning Agency for a determination of completeness, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date. Tab L.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Madam Clerk. As stated, this item before you is,
Say your name and your question.
forgive me, Derek Cook, representing Community Planning and Development Department. Thank you. As stated by the Madam Clerk, this item before you is combining the pools within the city. We have two pools that exist in the city. As stated, the primary and secondary pool. Primary pool is known within the North Miami redevelopment, within the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay District. And then you have the pool outside of that, which is outside the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay District. So in 2007, city established the three pools floating from the units. You had one, which were 1,800 units, which also had 375,000 square feet of commercial area. Had another pool which was for 2,200 units, which also with commercial area of 375,000 square feet of non-residential area, and you had a pool of 1,000 units. Subsequent in 2015, we revised the plan and we created two pools. Each pool had 2,500 pools, one within, as I stated earlier, the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay District, and one outside the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay District. And we also had a total of 750,000 square feet of non-residential area. The purpose of this ordinance is to combine that pool, what is remaining, and to make it into one lump, with the intent that what we was previously working under is if you were not within the neighborhood redevelopment area, you weren't able to access any of those bonus units. And through our analysis, what we had discovered is that most of our access of the bonus units were occurring outside of the neighborhood redevelopment area, which has depleted that pool significantly. We approximately right now have 330 units remaining. within the neighborhood redevelopment area, we have 1,900 and some odd units remaining in that area. So the intent is to combine those two pools, which will allow them to be available throughout the city for anyone to pull from that. And these pools that you are pulling from would be from the PCD, which is the Planned Development Corridor, and you have which in the neighborhood redevelopment area, and you would have it within the North Miami transit-oriented area that you'll be able to pull from. Solomia area will be excluded from that, and also the special development transit overlay district will be excluded from that because they have their own pools that they are drawing from. So in a nutshell, that is what it is. And at the Planning Commission meeting on May the 3rd, they recommended approval unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
So how many pools do we have remaining? Like, how many units are available in both pools? So when we combine them, how many units will we have?
1,900,
Or was
right?
it 27?
We'll have
About 1,900, no?
2,284 units.
2,284 units
Yes.
available once
Yes.
we combine.
Mhm.
And currently, because I know we've approved several development projects, do we have enough units for, all the projects that we already approved? Do we have
No,
enough
that's what
units
we mean.
available?
So those units have already been allotted and withdrawn from the pool. So
they've
this
been
is
drawn
what's
for the pool.
remaining.
Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to make sure. So we have 2,284 units available
With developments pending.
with development.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what
The
you
development
mean?
What do
pending,
you-
you said?
Which,
Yes, well, we have some that are in the rope that we know that will be coming in.
Oh, you
That-
know, but
Yes.
they haven't come in yet.
Not part of this
Hold on.
2284 you're giving.
when do we allocate them? So like
Complicate
Emblem
that.
Tower, for
Yeah.
instance, is it after the site plan or CUP? Like, when do we allocate those units?
Officially, once you go through the approval by mayor and council, that's when they officially allotted. What we do is, once we get a official application in, we withdraw that request from the pool for counting purposes. But it's not truly executed until they
Correct.
get
We got it. No, we
approval.
got it. So,
Oh, I'm sorry, can I? I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
So like, for instance, so Emblem Tower, you probably have it in appendix section, although it's not accounted for in this 2,200.
It is. Emlyn Coward has already been approved by you and
Okay.
by mayor and council, yes.
And then, I'm sorry, my last question, oh my God, I just had it. Go back, it
You
just,
can always come back.
y'all come back.
That's good
Is
too.
this public, Mr. Mayor, can we do?
No,
I
you can
a
ask
que-
questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
quick question, sir. We spoke about the difficulties that we had on the 7th Avenue corridors. When you mentioning the corridors that was included or excluded, did you say it was included or excluded? Because part of the issue that we had, and I spoke with Debbie Love about this, developers they couldn't, have enough bonus unit. So does this, because from the get-go, this has been my question, does this help or hurt the situation on the west side of the city?
It helps. And there's
We hope.
So let me just reiterate something.
Mm-hmm.
So we have what was inside the NRO, the Neighborhood Redevelopment Overlay
Yes.
District, okay? Right now, we have approximately 1,900 of those units there. Wish we had 19,000, that'd be a blessing. And outside the NRO, we have 330. And outside of the NRO is the area that you're speaking of, Vice Mayor. And when we combine those pools, then it will be no longer restricted to that 330 units. You'll be able to access that full 2,200 units that are available once the pool is combined.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's how you explain it to me, so we hope.
Thank you
Mayor, I
very
know
much.
my question, I'm sorry.
You done?
No, I had my question now. So what about units that were previously allocated but never, utilized? Is there a way to take those unit backs? Like, for instance, the 67 units that's on 130th Street, that project, it was already approved, it's been approved for years, but it's not moving. Is there any way to kind of say, hey, since you're not moving, let's take back your units since you're not ready yet?
Those
So-
people, they ask for additional for bonus unit
Yes.
at that building.
So what we have is, we have mechanisms, triggers within our LDRs that you need to meet those thresholds to maintain your approval. And that development has done so. And the final cup, so if I may go through the link, what you have is, you have them come in with the conditional use permit process. They go to the planning commission, get recommendation, come to you, and you make your approval or not. If they get approved, then they go to the development review committee, DRC, and through that, they have 18 months after that approval to at least apply for a building permit. If they go through that process, then they have codified their units.
I see. What about 123rd and 6th?
Say again, please, sir.
123rd and 6th Avenue. That project, 123rd and 6th. You know, they back out of that, and I think some units were available to them.
I don't know which one.
You don't?
That was a CRA project?
126. You don't remember?
I don't recall that one, so forgive me.
Okay. Thank you.
On the
Councilman
corner.
Galvin,
I guess,
This was a CRA project. Does it come to it?
No,
What about
see,
like
we
Ruts
got
Park?
nothing to
Did
do.
Ruts Park come to us?
CI is for money.
So,
but
what we will do with this, because I think this is a valid question that you asked, Councilwoman, is what if we have any units that are out there that have been allotted, but no one is moving through on that. And we do, I think that is an examination worth investigating and see where we are with them and following up with those developers and see if they're moving forward. Because to your thinking, I believe, at least to what I was thinking, our units are finite and they are valuable, and we need them because we have some people who really have an intent that they would like to develop in the city, and we would like to have as many units as available to them to access.
And my last question, so for projects that it's like a council priority, for instance, Rux Parks, I don't think Rux Parks went through I don't know if that one
process,
was,
yeah.
it hasn't went through the process. Is there a way to, I guess, hold those units for them? Because it was something that the council voted for. It's an affordable housing project in District 3, I think it was city-owned land.
And money was.
Yeah, money was, allocated from the
Allocated for
CRA.
cleanup.
So for a project like that, where it's a city-related project, is there any way to kind of like hold units for the city, since it's on city land, for instance, for Rux Parks?
So how many, did that go through the conditional use permit
No,
process?
Not yet.
Yeah, nothing.
And it's proposed to, how many units are they proposing, do you know? Because I have not been made familiar with that project. at
About
this time.
200 units.
Is McDermott here? Hey, Mike. I know you were on that project, Nick's project.
So-
how many units? I
So
think that's
what we would need to do, and because we're discussing this about other initiatives that the city have in mind, such as our P3 project that we have going in mind, and such as the project that Vice Mayor Desiree has going on. And what we would think as a possibility to try to secure some units, and that is to have us, as the city, make an initiative by going through the conditional use project and solidifying those units. So
to create a city pool.
so that they will not be
Well, apply for
exhausted.
additional units.
Yeah.
I think there's an item on the agenda about it that's gonna come.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, no, Mr. So
I
you-
think we need another discussion about
Yeah, I
that.
think so. I was
about
gonna
those
say-
pool units. We're gonna approve it, then if we have any
Yeah.
other question or investigation about
Because-
other project that,
Can we do that?
that we know
Mayor, council.
are not gonna move forward with.
Yeah, because I do like the idea that was proffered, perhaps from the 2,200, whatever that we come out when your investigation is done, it may be 2,500, that those projects identified by the council, there is allocated, at least something set apart. That I like that direction where the mayor was going.
But we gotta find out with the city attorney if we can do that.
Yeah.
Legally hold
have a
units
retreat.
for people that haven't even applied for
No,
for
we're saying
units.
the projects that we had.
Yeah, like at Rux
The
Park.
yeah.
But
So we
understand,
don't know.
but
I
the
see.
legality,
Yeah,
you
the
need to
people-
pull a conditional use permit in
Yes,
order to
sir.
apply for it.
Yes.
That mean,
Yeah.
we gotta see the legality of that. If we can just, Works Park gonna come in 1 year, let's hold 1,000 units for them. We will discuss that maybe at another, let's focus on that one, then the rest we can discuss that at another meeting. Yes?
very quickly, for second reading, if possible, can we have a quick chart that says how many we've got overall, how many we feel are allocated? In other words, it gets really confusing to
It
try to
does.
keep up with, wait, how many units are available? We all want to be accommodating to whoever's applying, but then we lose sight of the fact that it's a finite number, but we don't know how many we still have to play with. So before approving on second reading, I'd ask for just a quick bullet point of how many we have, how many are still outstanding or expected to be allocated, and then how many we'd have remaining. And then for the future, whenever somebody's coming forward, I think it would be great to have in the presentation, warning, council, you only have 452,
No, but
whatever it is.
But
just
Councilman
another way.
Galvin, we have another item where we're gonna apply for more units, and there's a study that's gonna be done here, and that's coming. There's an item
The
here.
next one. Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm just saying it
Will be done, Councilman.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Let's
Chair.
open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab L.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name's Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. When we created these pools back in 2007, we had very finite details of what we were trying to accomplish. I agree with the acting director for zoning and planning of what they want to do and the necessity of updating this particular pool. But I want to caution you that it's easy to develop in certain parts of this city, and as the director said, most of the units are being used outside of the NRO, and we were always concerned that one particular part of the city was going to get overdeveloped with all new everything, but not in the NRO. And that's why we set aside. We wanted to encourage developers to come there, not just go to the wealthy, easy neighborhoods. Come and help redevelop that district, that area. Going forward, you all will keep giving away these units for free.
Exactly.
I remember, and Mr. Mayor, if you indulge me for 1 or 2 minutes, there's a value to this, because a developer will come in, buy a piece of land, pay several $1 million, and they're entitled to, I'll make a number up, 100 units. They come and ask you, can I have an additional 100 units, and you give it to them. Meanwhile, they just paid $10, $20 million for that property, and you're giving these extra units to them, which they will in turn get full price for. Even if you took $25,000 per door, and you got 2,000 doors, that's $50 million that you could easily ask. Somebody says, I'm going to set aside 25% of my building or 20 units. Guess what? You can get those for free because you're going to do workforce housing or you're going to affordable housing within your complex. That's great. We're not going to charge you for those. I don't know if you're allowed to, but I understand other cities put a fee on these bonuses because they're a bonus. They're not a right.
Thank you very much.
One more minute, Mr. Mayor.
No, it's you're a citizen like every citizen.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. But we got to find out if it's legal too to sell those bonus units. Citizen is tab L. Public hearing is still open on tab L. Public hearing is now closed. Any more questions?
No, but Mr. Mayor, I do agree with former Mayor Burns. In we have been just issuing out, and we got to have a strategy or something, and maybe we start there. And I have had this conversation, and I'm going to talk to the manager about this. We got to figure out some way how to get out of it, because that's what we've been doing.
But we don't know what's legal, what's not legal.
No, it's legal because
But that's why we're updating
just
our
said-
comprehensive plan right now. That's just
Yeah.
why we're going through that process.
Yeah.
And maybe during those community meetings, we plan to attend one together, since they're already gonna be sunshine, where we can kinda,
No, I know because I remember when.
Yeah,
you-
but that's not what we have discussed. Let's finish with that. So
Which one you talking about?
attend the
yeah.
comp plan meetings, everyone.
This is wait a minute. This is which tab? This is. Oh,
what?
this is.
That's
Vanessa.
tab L. That's what we are.
So
No,
what was he
tab
talking
L.
about?
Tab
L
L.
or how we got into?
Because there's two.
Oh, tab L. Okay.
It was public hearing on tab
Oh,
L.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it mixed it. This is the proposed. This is the first one.
Can I have a motion on tab L?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Tab M, a proposed first reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida.
N or M?
M.
M
That's
as
mean
in
N.
mayor.
N is after.
What are the three items that was moved to consent? It was
J
two.
and K.
K.
Okay.
They said it was three.
No, it's just
It was 2.
It was two. Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Okay. A proposed first reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations, specifically at Article 4, Division 2, Section 4-205, entitled Floating Unit Allocation, to combine the primary and secondary pools of floating dwelling units and further clarify the non-residential pool in accordance with Section 3-302 and Sections 3-1004 through 3-1007 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and an effective date. Tab M.
Thank you very much.
So tab M is, if I may, the sibling of tab L. Tab M was the comprehensive plan to allow for the combining of the two pools. Tab M is the land development regulations, where we combine the two pools and put it into the land development regulations so we can have the opportunity to allot these units through the conditional use permit process.
Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab M.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. To continue on where we were at, and this relates to it, you should make sure that there are conditions, if you all so desire, that one particular group, one particular development group cannot take 50% of the pool out with just one project. If you are truly trying to redevelopment multiple properties within the city, you may want to look at having a framework of how do you fairly distribute it among the different redevelopment and the different redevelopment areas that you want within the city. And there should be some safeguard in there that if somebody by right has the right to 50 units, that they get to get another 100 units from you. Just keep it balanced among all the redevelopment. And we want the redevelopment in the city. We need the redevelopment in the city. But while those developers are getting very wealthy, we should make sure that the city gets our fair share, other than just the property tax incentives that we're going to get, or the property taxes. They're making money off of your or the people's pool, and it was intended to help the city. So again, just have safeguards in there, possibly to make sure not any one particular group, especially those east of the boulevard, north of 135th Street, just don't get everything they want. But I hope that you all, and I think that the director is doing a good job of trying to update this whole process, because North Miami is on the map now for redevelopment. We just want to make sure that we're getting our fair share and that it's spread throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed. But at the same time, we cannot hold a poll and say a company is going to come in 20 years to redevelop. We're going to hold those pools for them. Whoever comes first and want to develop and put money in the book of the city, that's what we need to do, so we can apply for more. Maybe we can rebuild our infrastructure and make the city available for more units. I think that's the best approach. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab M. The motion was seconded by Mayor Bieneme. Vice Mayor Desome, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin is not here.
No.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Tab N, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 5 entitled Development Standards by amending Divisions 1 and 16, specifically at Section 5-101 entitled Accessory Uses and Structures and Section 5-104 entitled Drive-Throughs, Walk-Up Windows, and Automated Teller Machines to allow drive-throughs as a permitted use in certain areas of the city, in accordance with Section 3-302 and Sections 3-1004 through 3-1007 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29 entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. Tab N.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is Derek Cook with the Community Planning and Development Department. As stated by Madam Clerk, the item before you is an amendment to allow for the modification of the location where you can have drive-throughs within the city. We are looking to streamline the approval for drive-through process to eliminate the barriers, development of the drive-through. Currently, what we have in the city is you have drive-throughs that are allowed in the C1 and the C3 district and is allowed through the special exception. Within the downtown area, where was one of the areas where we're talking about modifying, within the neighborhood redevelopment area, they are currently not allowed. This provision will allow for that to take place within the downtown area and will allow for them to take place outside of the downtown area within the prescribed areas that they're allowed now, C1, C3, and no longer going through the special exception process, but in all cases would need to go through the administrative site plan review within the department to allow for the use to take place. So the next step would be to bring the item back before you on the 14th of June, if you so choose to move forward with this item with these modifications.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public in tab N.
I'm Hector Medina, 1270 Northeast, 124th. The zoning board rejected these amendments basically because we can't handle any more drive-throughs. The McDonald's drive-through alone back up traffic on 125th all the way sometimes to 95. So also that there is a bus station there and another station, a bus stop, and if they combine that with the McDonald's people, the traffic is there, people are getting hurt, accidents happen, and drive-throughs should not be, in the city of Aventura, there's not even fast food restaurants anymore. So drive-throughs are a nuisance, nobody likes them, and will alter the traffic patterns that we already have problems with in the city.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Going to Mr. Medina's question, how will we sort of regulate, do we need to regulate, distance between drive-throughs, effects they might have on traffic patterns?
So as we, as I stated, as one of our provisions, so that you wouldn't just go by right with no supervision whatsoever, that we will require at least administrative site plan, which will review the site, see how it has impact with the traffic, and have them to organize their drive-through in a way that be least impactful through the surrounding areas, that you don't have it overflowing into the right-of-way and things to that effect. That would be the key towards that. Dr. Medina, his concern is well taken. It is true that the Planning Commission did recommend denial of the item as it relates to the specifically dealing with our downtown North Miami neighborhood redevelopment area. It was brought before us to move forward with the item, and it's doing so. We felt as part of that mitigation, to reiterate, is that we at least have to have an administrative site plan to help mitigate any impact that it may have.
This would allow for drive-throughs in other places around the city, not just downtown, or did I misread?
That's correct. Currently, we have drive-throughs that are allowed within the commercial districts now, outside of the NRO, but it's through the special exception process.
Right.
Now, we're alleviating that process and making it by administrative site plan.
Your question, that's when you wanna make the decision instead of us?
Right.
So, as it stands right now, I'm not sure what you're saying there. The item is before you right now to decide if you would like to have this modification done for drive-throughs. As it
Why?
related to the dealing with it as within the C1 and C3, it did go before the Board of Adjustment for review to allow for
But what you're
drive-throughs. And to get to your
What
point,
you're asking me today in this is to allow you to make that decision instead of the board here.
if we go through this process, we will eliminate the Board of Adjustment review of drive-throughs, and it will become an administrative item. Yes, sir.
Oh, but how did this item come about?
They can come up with anything. You just gotta make the decision whether you're gonna
No,
vote
well,
for it
until
or
you
not.
mentioned that, Mr. Mayor, I didn't even, I did see that the commission denies it for it to come to us. So how does that process work? How does it get to us if the commission
If
did
it's a
not?
special exception,
If it's a special-
it come
okay.
before us. Now
So
they wanna
how-
make the decision instead of us.
If I may, through the mayor. So what you have is that the planning commission is a recommending board, and
I
they're
know.
recommending an action for you to take on their behalf.
Yeah.
So they come to you, and their recommendation was denied to you, and it's your discretion on whether or not
I
you
see,
accept
okay.
that.
That's not, okay.
But that's not the point. The initial question, you ask the board, you ask the planning commission to give you the authority to make that decision instead of us. And they said no.
So if I may, Mr. Mayor, and when you're talking about us in that it goes before a board for review and approval outside of the NRO, yes, it did go before the Board of Adjustment to allow for a drive-through. It did not come before mayor and council, but it did go before the Board of Adjustments.
Yeah.
So now you don't want that. In
If
the-
If they
Let
denied
me-
it, if they denied it, they can come before us.
That's true.
The
If we,
applicant
so
can come before us.
any action that we take can be appealed. If I deny a building permit, they can appeal it to the city council. If I deny their administrative site plan, they can come to city, mayor and council for that.
Thank you. Do you have any question? No? Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Was that a second by council? I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab N. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desame, how do you vote?
No,
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
No.
Failed.
I said no.
Motion fails. With a 2-2 vote.
Tab O.
Tab O, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 5 entitled Development Standards by amending Divisions 1 and 16, specifically at Section 5-101 entitled Accessory Uses and Structures, and Section 5-1611 entitled Mobile Food Dispensing Vehicles to modify the location where mobile food dispensing vehicles may operate in the city in accordance with Section 509.102, parentheses 2, Florida Statutes 2021, and Section 3-302 and Sections 3-1004 through 3-1007 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and an effective date. Tab O.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is Derek Cook with the Community Planning and Development Department. As stated, the item before you is an amendment to the land development regulations to allow for mobile food dispensing vehicles to operate outside of the area that we had specifically been approved. In 2021, in September, the city adopted an ordinance in 1496 to establish a uniform regulations to allow for the operation of mobile food dispensing vehicles within the city consistent with the preemption provided in section 509.102 of the Florida State Statutes. Currently, unless allowed elsewhere, under a temporary use permit, the mobile food dispensing vehicles as an accessory use are limited within the M1 district. And that limitation is also coinciding with a business such as if they have to operate the same hours of that business, and they also must obtain administrative site plan approval to be able to set up that their use there. And in that mindset is to curtail any kind of conflicts that may take place with pedestrian vehicles and parking areas for review as that item went forward. So, Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy desired to expand this area in support of entrepreneurship within the city, and has requested that before Mayor and Council that we bring this item to allow for the use to be expanded to other commercial districts and in conjunction with specific uses within the city, with car washes and with laundromat. When we're talking about car washes, we're talking about the mechanical car wash, which is allowed in the C1 and C3 districts. And this will allow for this to go forward. And again, in doing so, they would need to go through the administrative site plan to be able to set up that use with those venues. And another item that was brought before this, when this went before Planning Commission, they recommended approval, but they recommended approval with 3 items in mind as conditions. To include a distance separation requirement for placement of the mobile food dispensing vehicles between sites that allow for laundromats and for mechanical car washes to avoid for concentration of the uses in an area. Their thinking was that we have, right now currently, we have quite a few laundromats that are available in the city. And if you allow for this use to be at every laundromat, we'll have a proliferation of those uses. So they want us to consider having a distance separation between the uses so we wouldn't have that concentration of those uses going on in one consolidated area like that. And the second consideration they would have for Mayor and Council is that the city manager have a code compliance audit existing mobile food dispensing vehicles to assure that they are properly licensed and in compliance with the standards of Section 5-1611, which is what I've alluded to. That section deals with the fact that you need to go through the administrative site plan approval for your existence there. You need to also operate in the same hours of the venue that you are there with. The only caveat to that is you have some people who may have been there for a while. So the important element that they need to do in their enforcement is to go out and make sure they at least have the proper certificate of use to be functioning there and to confirm that they have been there for a while before this ordinance was enacted in September of last year of 2021 that put in those criteria. You only can be in the M1 district and you need to have an administrative site plan and your hours of operation must mirror the hours of operation for the primary use at that location. And the third consideration that the Planning Commission would like for Mayor and Council to consider is for business that are operating 24 hours to limit the hours of operation on site from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council, you want to add something? That's your idea?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Cook and City Administration for working on this item. When it was brought before us, I know Councilman Galvin sponsored the first item. I requested from staff that they create like a special application where, you know, certain mobile trucks can apply for it. That process wasn't implemented. So this is another route that I decided to take when the entrepreneur, you know, approached me about the potential of having mobile services at their food trucks at their business. So this is why the item was brought before you all. I did watch the Planning Commission. I found it very funny, especially for the third recommendation, which I'm not in favor of, because people do like to eat after 11 p.m. I'm one of those people. So to limit it to 11 p.m. I felt was a bit much.
No, but you know, the problem, you're gonna have those food truck with a lot of music at those 24 hours laundromat. What you gonna do with that?
If you guys want to take out the laundromat,
Huh?
well,
No,
that was
it's not. I'm talking about the hour, 24 hours for those laundromat that open, well, open 24/7. You're gonna have food truck with music and.
can we
Whoever
limit the
close
music
comments.
to maybe limit the music to that time? But
Oh, okay.
I have some comments, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you want to.
When she's finished.
but that's it. You can
You
go ahead.
said, okay.
After public
Go ahead.
comments or right now?
No, you can.
Oh, okay. My concern, Derek, with I don't have a problem supporting the legislation, but not as is, because the only concern that I had, it's bad enough that we have to deal with the preemption from the state. And I remember last year when we were going over the legislation, what we had to do, and we talked, I remember, was it with you, Madam Manager, and Jennifer, or was it with Jeff, about the distance from the food truck, about this? I think it was Jennifer that was in the meeting with these food trucks in the first place. But specifically, my issue is the laundromat. There are so many in the city, and most of them I took a ride yesterday thinking about this, and earlier this morning, on one of my major corridor, all of the laundromats are in a area. They're not alone. I could see the car wash, because you have the car wash, which is either in a gas station or isolated, so there's not any food. But with the laundromats, most of them are either near a plaza or there's a restaurant across, or in our example on 7th Avenue, you're looking at the Nomi Village. You got a laundromat right across in the plaza where you are. There's 3 restaurants right there. In fact, they're complaining because there's across the street is Miami-Dade County, and they have a truck that goes there and park there. So I do understand what we're doing, but we got to be careful on how we're not stepping on the small business that's already there as well. So the laundromat, I'm okay. The car places, yeah, you're sitting there, you don't have nowhere to go, because you and there's not many car washes in our city. And I think you eloquently stated, Mr. Cook, that there's several laundromat, and they open 24 hours, and they will. So I think that's my only concern. So I don't know, Madam Councilwoman, if there could be a friendly amendment to it. I'll fully support it. Yeah, the laundromat corridor.
The car wash.
Yeah, the car wash I'm okay with. That I don't have any issue with.
No, that's fine. I'm in support.
Okay.
So you want to remove laundromats?
Yes.
Yeah, it's too many of them. And
They operate 24/7.
yeah, and then there's food, like finger licking is right next to, and then Nomi Village is gonna be food trucks. So if they can't get into Nomi Village, we just kill Nomi Village business. and
Yeah, and here's another question. I'm sorry, Councilman.
no, go ahead. No, go.
How do we deal with places that food trucks that want to set up adjacent to existing brick and mortar restaurants? I'm all about food trucks. But if you have a restaurant already and you're paying business fees and taxes, et cetera, and suddenly this truck just pulls up right outside your front door and starts selling food, have we, or the Board of Adjustment, given any consideration to how that impacts?
So currently, that wouldn't take place. So when you originally brought this item before you in September of last year, at that time, our intent was to allow for food truck within the commercial districts. And because of that concern that you just articulated, Councilman, it was reduced to only in the M1 district, and it was further modified that it had to have a site plan, and you had to operate within the same parameters of the principal business there. So because of that concern. So today, I couldn't just come up with my food truck and park it across the street at the in that plaza, because it's not allowed. Now, we do allow them to happen through a temporary use permit, or for special events and things to that effect, But that is that's not for a permanent operation. That's for, could be a few days, it could be for whatever parameters that is put there, but the intent is not to be permanent for that. And that still requires a review and approval by community planning. And if it's for a certain period, it would be risen even up to the city manager's
So
office.
as we're apparently with the amendment that Councilman Tasuma has offered, if we approve this tonight, it's only in
At car
effect for
wash.
car wash.
Yeah, we're not going too crazy. And it was with Ms. Warren. We discussed a distance. There was some, if it was legal, that we could do some type of distance during the corridor, like it couldn't be in every block or something like that. And you know, we were good.
Is that what the
Yes.
amendment, what the recommendation one from?
That
Planning
was
Commission
from
does?
Planning
Okay.
Commission to have a distance separation to avoid the possibility of proliferation of the uses.
Okay.
And that-
Oh, do we open it up to the public?
But wait a minute.
And the other friendly amendment, yeah, they have to stop music after 11 p.m. if the business is a 24 hours operation. Let's say a car wash is a 24-hour operation, and not 2 o'clock they're gonna play music.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a noise.
We do have the noise
The
ordinance,
noise ordinance.
which prevents that to take place after 11 right now.
Okay.
Quick question, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman, in reference to, well, Mr. Cook, this does not change the location of this. We're not talking about residential, or this is still in the zoning, the district of, you know, the business
So
commercial corridors. Are
So
we-
just to reiterate, if I
Yes.
may, Mr. Vice Mayor, currently what we have is only in the M1 district.
Yes.
This will expand the use to allow it to happen as we talked about, and how you as the council decide to move forward, to amend it to allow it at laundromat and mechanical car washes.
Okay.
And
That's
those
it.
uses are specifically allowed in certain zoning districts.
Got it. But-
Which is the C1 and the C3 zoning districts.
Okay, but if we only saying tonight, we only gonna allow the let's just say the laundromat. Yeah, or car wash, whichever one. So that will just be the C1, those entities only, not other businesses in, that's not stated here.
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
Only the car wash.
Okay, only the car wash. Okay, I'm good. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Let's open it to the public. Let's jump in.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. How you guys doing? Casper P. Lewis, 2301 Laguna Circle.
Who's look? Oh.
Okay, I can talk now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
How you guys doing? I own and operate North Miami Car Wash on West Dixie, 13820 West Dixie Highway. And I purchased the place a few years ago. And what I discovered is, you know, I cleaned the place up, you know. Everybody know how much of an eyesore it was and how much bad element used to be over there. I made sure I put 16 cameras, cleaned the place up, and the police officers was, you know, they could attest, you know, they get less problems. That used to be a place where people used to hang, sit there in the dark, or, you know, it wasn't a place I'd go after 8 o'clock. But anyways, what I discovered owning and operating a business, a lot of people go there, and once your car is there, you can't move. And you can't sit there, you don't know how long your car gonna be sometimes, and people wanna order food, they not, you know, by the time they order, their car probably be done, and some people get, you know, shampoos, you know, some people get car waxes, you know, get their car waxed and everything else. Sometimes it could take a few hours. So if there's no food in the area, the person sit there and they're like, man, you know, my car look clean, but I'm starving, you know? So it's a problem that a lot of people complain about, you know? So it's something that we're trying to see how we could, you know, to help the customer, you know, at the same time where they could get something to eat, get their car clean, and then go home, you know? So that was the idea of that. And I appreciate you guys for the consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open on tab O. Public hearing is now closed. Can I have a motion on tab O?
I will move to approve tab O with the friendly amendment from Councilman Vice Mayor DeSomé to only allow it at car washes, and we'll also accept the conditions from the planning commission 1 and 2.
Second?
What's the two?
Have code, make sure that they audit it and so forth.
There's a first and there's a second.
Yeah.
I have a motion made
second.
by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab O with the amendment as stated and the approval of the first two conditions or recommendations set by the Planning Commission. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Vice Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin is absent. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much. And now we have citizen forum.
Motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I do not have any previously submitted comments for Citizens Forum. If you'll be speaking during Citizens Forum, please note that there are 2 podiums at which you may
Citizen forum is
begin lining
open.
up.
Citizen forum is now closed. Council reports. Do we have any reports?
Did you say you have some comments to read?
No.
Oh, good. No, I just wanted to thank the council for supporting the NOMI Gold and Silver Senior Program. We had the kickoff, the administration, as well as, is Ms. Bazile here? The social service department, they did a phenomenal job on Sunday, and I'm so thrilled, I think all of us are, that especially after the pandemic, that the seniors were just so happy to see one another. So I think in 2 weeks, they'll be back together. We will try to resume the program as normal as we can. Again, thank you for all the hard work from the council and administration. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Timothy.
Thank you, Mayor. We received a memo earlier last week about the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. I would like to serve as the elected official that serves on that board. Madam Manager, I don't know if it has to be a vote before us, or how does that work?
I was gonna bring it up in the report, but if you all can just agree on it now as to who might be on that board for the affordable
I make a
housing.
motion to
If
appoint
everyone's okay.
Cassandra Timothy on the board, on the Affordable Housing Board.
Okay. I have a motion to appoint Councilwoman Timothy, made by Mayor Bieneme to appoint Councilwoman Timothy to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Just wanted to thank my colleagues for voting for me. As someone who is struggling to find affordable housing in Miami, I would like to lead this charge for the city. And just wanted to take a moment. I know I was shaken up today. If I could take a mental day, I would. But of course, we have to show up here every day and do the work of the community. As you all may know, 14 little ones lost their lives today along with the teacher. And this morning, I attended my nephew's kindergarten graduation. So I wanted to shout out Liam and tell him congratulations and how proud I am of him. But I can't, because I just can't come to myself, because I know 14 little ones can't come home. And on the helms of what happened in Buffalo, getting ready to recognize what happened in Pulse in a couple of weeks, I just think if we can just all take a moment and just really just center ourselves and drive out hate and just really just kind of see what we're going through in this world and reach out to a neighbor, be kind and spread love, because this world needs healing. And it's a tough job up here because we want to act, we want to do something, but sometimes we're hopeless and we're helpless. So I want to take a moment to thank the North Miami Police Department, because every time I attend that parent pickup line at David Lawrence to pick up my little ones, I see the officers there, and I feel like my little ones are safe. So I just want to thank you all for continuing to show up for our students and continue to provide that services, because it gives me a sense of safety living in this city. So again, thank you, Chief, and thank you to our men and women in uniform.
Councilman Galvin,
No report.
thank you very much. Madam City Clerk.
All right, so I'm not gonna cry this week because I'm not soft. I want to make sure y'all know that. But I do want to say thank you to all of you, because I didn't realize just how much Alyssa was loved. Today we said goodbye to her, or maybe see you later, and it was just so overwhelming to see so many people really show up for her and say all of the things that many of us have said about her, how sweet she is, how kind she is, how loving she is, or was. A lot of you offered prayers, you checked on our staff, you offered your help, and there's just way too many of you to name, but of course the City Council and Mayor Biename, I'll never have words to thank you for what you did for that family. The city administration, city manager's office specifically, the police department. You know, one of the things that kept coming up as people were talking about Alyssa is the fact that she was just so kind and so just loving. And as I walk through these buildings, some of you don't even say good morning to each other. And so if Alyssa's passing could teach us any one thing, it is to lead with kindness, to offer a kind gesture, a kind word to your fellow human. And I think if we all started doing that, it would have ripple effects throughout this world that would eventually, as Councilwoman Timothy said, drive out hate. But some of you can't even do something as simple as say hi or thank you. And so as we leave here today and as we commit ourselves to being better human beings each and every single day, I would just ask that you do your best to just show kindness to the next person. And I also just want to remind us that we need to hold our young people a lot closer. And so I really thank Georgette and Paul over at the library, Brinson and his team over at Parks and Recs, the PAL program, and of course, all of the officers, because you pour into our young people each and every single day, and you show them love, compassion, and understanding. And that's why these programs are so extremely important, because they may not get it anywhere else. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much.
No report, Mayor.
Just wanted to announce that we're gonna go live with Everbridge. So we've had the system, but we've never gone live. There were some conversations a few meetings ago about communicating with our residents, particularly when there's a road closing or something that's happening, and we can now we can by text, via phone, voicemail, and so now, and we can also get particular neighborhoods, so it doesn't interrupt everybody, but it's specific. So something like even the FPNL that we've been dealing with, if there's something specific, we can actually get notifications to them. So we will be going live on June 1st. We will be sending out notifications through Constant Contact and our social media accounts. We're going live on Everbridge, which is an emergency notification alert. Yeah. Many of the neighbors will probably sign up, and that way, when something's happening in their area, they would be alerted. And it can be as large a group or as small as a group, and that way they'll know when something is coming up. So generally, we would send emails out, but now you get a notification to their phone once they sign up. So we'll be pushing this out to all of the residents, asking them to sign up on a different account so that they can be notified when we have issues, road closures, even big emergencies. It'll be helpful also with the hurricane as well.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. Madam Manager, how different is that program from the NOMI Connect that we're about to do? Because is that the NOMI Connect, or is that, what's yeah, well,
What is
that's
NOMI
another,
Connect?
that's another one.
So-
That's an app for, if you don't mind, Madam Manager, for the past 3 years, I've been trying to get where we could communicate with residents, but they'll be allowed to communicate with us, especially those who doesn't speak English, speak Spanish and Creole. They could send us a message, a voice message. So
Who's
similar
gonna
to
listen
WhatsApp.
to it?
No, it would be then up to our aide.
What
You know,
aid?
each department. Well, for example, I have an aide, and I'm sure you have one or whatever the case is. But the
What
bottom line
your
is,
aid?
no, you see him over there. But so I'm just trying to figure out. So for the communication aspects of it, is it the same? How different is it? Because I know it's been 3 years we've been working on this thing, and I think we got it. It's supposed to be on the final thing where they present it to you, to council, and then for us to get it out. I think we're waiting on the vendor. Is that the same thing, or is it different, or how different
This
is
is
it?
different, and for getting the particulars, I would have to ask IT director, because
But
part of it
the
was.
IT director been in our meeting, so let me ask him if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. IT.
But this is more broad, and it connects with the addresses in the area. It's a notification system that's kind of used with a lot of cities all across, including Miami-Dade County, Jacksonville, Daytona, Tampa. So this is a huge alert system, and it connects with kind of where our neighbors are. I would have to get more information in terms of NOMI Connect, because my understanding was that it was more of a communication tool with you and the residents. This one is more of like an alert system of things that are happening. But I'll let the IT director, if he wants to describe a little bit
The
more.
information of the alert gonna come from the city, right?
Us.
Not from the residents.
Right, it comes from the city, so when something is happening here, like.
But what about the residents? Will they be able to
Yeah.
send you something?
It goes out to that, no, it goes
Okay,
out to
that's
them,
good.
and then we get
We-
reports.
Okay, that's two different things.
No. Ours have alert too, because each one have our
But the
picture.
resident will be able to send you a message.
Yes.
Versus
no,
that one, they won't
absolutely.
be able to do it.
No, they won't. But I'm just trying to figure out, because I didn't even know about it, Mr. Mayor. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference, because we could have collaborated if I knew. Because Clyde.
If you know, you said it's been 2 years.
Yeah,
I'm not,
2 years.
I don't know nothing about it.
No, because
About
it's
NOMI Connect.
it's my initiative, but we haven't
Where
presented
is
to
it?
you guys.
For
We
3
haven't
years?
presented.
Oh,
You do not want me to go into why it's taking 3 years, so let's not go on there yet. However,
how much it costs? It was in the budget?
it's been since before Larry left. We've been working on this
It's
thing.
been on the budget for NOMI Connect?
No,
How much
I
you
don't
talking
think.
about?
How much is what the actual
NOMI
app?
Connect that you're talking about?
I would have to get back to you on that, but there was monies allocated when, I believe when there was a hold on the Brewfest at one point, each person had some allocations that they had requested specifically, and that was his specific request, that was Vice Mayor's specific request from that allocation that each council member had asked for some.
What allocation is council member?
There was a year in which we did not do the Brewfest because of COVID. And specifically, there were different things in the areas for the council. So if I can't recall all of the requests at this time.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, there was a request.
Yes,
There's a request
I
by
wasn't
every,
aware of, I didn't use, where's, do you know about, who knows about it? I didn't know about it.
You
From
don't
NOMI Fest
remember the Brewfest.
I never knew there was money allocated for Brewfest, and we didn't use that money, and it was spread to our council members.
sir, I can go back and give you the allocation that was requested
Yeah,
for you
okay.
specifically
Okay.
on that amount.
Yeah, can you, in 2 weeks, can you bring it here? Because I don't remember specific money was allocated for me.
Sir, oh, for you, sir.
Yes.
Claude Charles, IT Director. Can we go back? What was the question, the initial?
No, the question, what is the similarity or the difference would be, I guess, the existing app that we have. What is it called again, Cassandra?
Might Know
I'm
Me.
sorry, Councilwoman. Timothy, what is it called?
Might Know Me.
Might Know Me app. So the new app, and
So
then this.
the My Know Me, the public stuff app, and the Know Me Connect app both exist in a vein called CRM software, which is customer relationship management software.
Oh.
The point of it is to facilitate communication between the public and City Hall. The Everbridge program is an emergency management product which will, so you can send alerts through your program, but the focus of Everbridge is to alert the community as to a pending event. So it's not really a interactive program, whereas yours is.
Would we be able to send like a flyer, if we create the flyer or message in different languages through
Through the Know Me
Everbridge?
Connect?
No, I know we could do that through Everbridge. Like if we have something.
I see Commander Brinson came up.
Commander Brinson, yeah, he
very knowledgeable about the product. He can. I don't know if you can do the multiple languages.
Oh, okay.
Commander Brinson, Emergency Manager. Everbridge gives us capability to send text messages, send voice messages. If we want to have a city employee record a voice message in English and then come back and record a second one in Creole or Spanish, that's the capability that's there. The possibilities are endless. It's just our imagination. Whether it's voice messages, we can record a message, we can type it in, and the computer voice will read it. But they suggest that we read it a human because people hang up on computer voice. But yes, text message, email, SMS text, which is the text you receive on a cell phone. Yeah, as long as we have people that can utilize the various languages, we can send those out.
Mr. Mayor, is it emergency only, or if we're having a festival like Brewfest or something like that, can we announce that as well?
We were looking to utilize.
I think we should have little flights of beer up here every meeting.
We were looking to utilize it more toward emergency notifications. We have multiple notifications that work well now as far as community events like Brewfest and different events, but this was more for emergencies. And even where there's not a life or death emergency, like I said, we can send a water main break or road construction in this neighborhood. If you're on the other side of town, you don't want to be bothered with something that doesn't affect you. So for things that are not life and death emergencies, we can send out specific notifications to areas, but something that's affecting everyone, we can send out citywide.
Right. So for instance, if there's going to be construction on Biscayne Boulevard in District 1, we could theoretically have a subsection of that we could just target them and say construction, road closed, the president's coming through town, something like that. We don't have to make it a citywide announcement.
Everyone who registers will be represented on a map of the dot. We can draw a box on a map and just send a notification to that box.
That's crazy.
Or that street, or an individual household.
I like it. Yeah. Thank you.
And it's free.
I like it even
It's not
more.
free. We entered the MOU with the state of Florida, Department of Emergency Management, and the state of Florida is covering. They're paying Everbridge, but we are getting the services it's paid for.
And it's free? You like that?
Thank you.
Are we adjourned to go?
Move to adjourn?
We're done with
We're done, but we do need tighten communication, because you say you don't know about some stuff I didn't know about, because a lot of these similarities.
You
we
said
can
something
combine
been
them.
3 years. I don't know about nothing.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know, because it's been in management discussing it and trying to get it going. But we find we almost get it there.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Quick before we adjourn, I just want to throw this out there that I got a text from a resident while we were having that last discussion about the My Know Me app. Apparently it's unavailable on the newest Play Store, Google app downloader.
Yeah, it's not ready yet. That's it's not available yet.
Know Me app.
It's our My Know Me.
Oh, My Know Me app.
Sorry,
We're looking into that to try to get it on there in the meantime.
Oh,
And I often receive the complaint that anything that's reported to My Know Me never gets
No.
followed up on. So I just
That's
want to
not the
point that
problem.
out because the resident texted me with that.
We'll look into it. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to adjourn, seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Thank you.
carries
Good night,
with
everyone.
a 4-0 vote. It is 8:41.
Before 9 o'clock.
Derek